Hi everybody, this is April Monthly Card Club, and while Evelyn runs upstairs to get her scissors and whatnot that she's forgotten, let's just do a quick tech check and make sure I'm actually live in the right place. Let's have a look. Yep, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so let's find us. There we go. That's better. That's better. Okay. I think we are live in the right place. Wonderful. So, as I was saying, welcome to April's Monthly Card Club, where we are going to be making sporty themed projects. You'll see lots of footballs on these cards, but I'm going to show you how you can use this suite not only for footballs, but for other things as well, other sports. So that would be really good. So for those of you who are logging on and joining to craft along with me, please say hi in the comments so that I know that you're here. That would be wonderful. Tell me if you're crafting as we go along as well. That's also quite useful to know. So I make sure I don't go too fast and everything, and know how many people I'm waiting for. Yeah, and make sure you've got yourself a drink, a snack if you need it. Hi Sally. Make sure you've got your kit. So lots of people asking me, what does a kit in the post consist of? Well, this is a kit in the post. This is what it looks like. So you get your patterned papers. I try to give everybody a half a sheet of each of the pattern papers, so a quarter pack of DSP. You'll get some card blanks as well, so some card bases of plain card in there, and then you can see at the bottom here lots and lots of little die cut pieces, any extras. You've got some embellishments there as well, and I'll kind of show you how it all comes together as we go along. Okay, so let's start with all the news this morning from Stampin' Up. So the first thing to say is that as we approach the end of April, this, ta-da-da, is our next new catalogue, which is really exciting. Now, normally at this time of year, you would be expecting me to say that we are about to launch our next annual catalogue. But Stampin' Up are going completely rogue and doing something totally different this year. So we have scrapped the idea of annual catalogues, and instead we are having that thickness. So probably, I'm going to say half the thickness of an annual catalogue, but still with a nice rigid spine. So not as small as the mini, but kind of in between the mini and the annual. And we're going to have 3 of these replacing the mini catalogues throughout a year. So they will be seasonally focused. So this one contains very much summer products. And they will also contain all of your essentials that you would have expected in the annual catalogue. That will be in every single catalogue. So that's great. So all your colours, inks, papers, all that kind of stuff, all in here. So that's really wonderful. So we have this catalogue launching on, she looks at the back, the 5th of May. And it runs all the way through to the 31st of August. And then we will move into the autumn and Christmas catalogue. So that's brilliant. Now, crucial question. If I buy something from this catalogue, will it become redundant when I get to the end of August? And the answer is no. Things will continue to sell from this catalogue until they are sold out. So some things might last for over a year even from this catalogue. So that's really good news as well, because what you're buying isn't suddenly going to become redundant. So that's nice. So if you haven't got one of these, I know lots of you already have, either because you've already been to me for workshops and collected them either this morning or a couple of weeks ago when we did spring retreat, or if you're a demonstrator, you can order one yourself. The next time you place an order, there'll be a banner that comes up that says, click for my free catalogue, and you'll get a catalogue free. But if none of those things apply to you and you want a catalogue, in your hand paper catalogue, then let me know and I will give you one. So that's the first bit of news, is the new catalogue is on its way. The second bit of news is today my paper pumpkin arrived. Woohoo! The excitement. So in a minute when I turn the camera around, I thought it would be good for those of you who've never heard of paper pumpkin, don't know what it might consist of, I will show you what you get the minute it arrives in a paper pumpkin kit. And I'll also show you one of the little add-ons that you can get to go with the kit as well. So that'd be great. And then when I have actually made the projects in there and some alternatives, I will share those with you as well. Okay, so what are the other two pieces of news? So as we're approaching May, we've got two exciting new offers coming up. One is a sale offer. So we're having a little change around of some of our memory keeping products. So things for scrapbooking and mini album making and stuff like that, and pocket scrapbooking, that kind of stuff. And so we're having a massive memory keeping or scrapbooking sale, which starts, I believe, well, the promotional stuff that I got sent said it starts on Saturday, which seems a bit random to me. So I'm wondering whether it probably starts next week. Anyway, do have a look online and you'll see what the sale products are. It will be all scrapbooking bits and pieces, so that's really good. And we're actually using some scrapbooking supplies tonight that I am repurposing for card making, so that will be good too. So that starts next week, and then also next week we've got a brand new joining offer. So the brand new joining offer is for anybody who signs up to buy their starter kit as a demonstrator. As usual, the price pretty much remains the same always, and that's £99 to get your starter kit. But this time there are going to be two choices of add-ons that you can put on that. So your basic offer is for £99, which you pay to Stampin' Up. You choose whatever you want to the value of £130. So you immediately get £31 worth free. And then the second join-in bonus is on top of that £31 free product, you can also choose to have all 5 of the brand new in colour ink pads. So if you're looking to get them anyway, it's a great way to get them. Or if you don't want the in colour ink pads, then, hi mum, if you don't want the in colour ink pads, then you can choose an additional £35 of extra free product. So if you just go with the monetary value one, for £99, you can have £66 worth of free product. So that is loads. I mean, that is several sweets, that is colouring stuff, that is tons of packs of paper, cardstock, envelopes, because you choose what you want, so you can have whatever you like. So if you've considered joining Stampin' Up, or if your demonstratorship has expired and your thing, or if it's due to expire this week, you can rejoin immediately. As soon as it's expired, the new join-in offer starts on the 5th of May. So that's really brilliant too. So if you want any details of any of that, you only need to let me know. Okay, and I will attempt over the weekend to create a newsletter and send it out with all of those exciting things in. Wonderful. Okay then, right, let's turn the camera around and I'll show you what we're making. We'll start with a quick opening of that paper pumpkin, and then I will show you, we'll be on to our main projects. So I just want to show you what you get in the box, really. Okay, so let me see, where is my turning round? There we go. And you can wave to Evelyn. There she is. Haha. Okie dokie. Let's get some lights on and see what is going on. That's better. Okay. And make sure we're in shot here. What is in and what is out of shot. Come forward a bit more. I think that's a bit better. Okay, that looks a little better. Still feel like we're not quite there. How's that? Is that better? It does look a bit better, I think. There we go. Right. So, paper pumpkin comes exactly like this. It's a sealed box and your address is on the back. And today it was delivered by Royal Mail. Yeah, Royal Mail. So you open the box up, and the first thing you've got inside your paper pumpkin is an introductory card. And on the back of the card, if you're going to give this, for example, as a gift to somebody, because these are fantastic, they make fantastic gifts, then it gives you some basic instructions on how to actually stamp. So that's quite good. For some reason I am not getting, oh, there we go, is that right? For some reason I'm not getting the chat come up on my, oh, let's try that. No. What's going on there? For some reason I'm not getting the chat coming up on my laptop that's by the side of me, and I don't know why that is. So apologies if I miss your comment. I'll see if Evelyn can keep an eye on comments on her phone instead. Yeah, so that's the first thing, is that you get a little basic guide to how to put a stamp on a block and how to stamp if you've never done it before. So that's helpful if you're giving it as a gift. Then it comes wrapped in beautiful tissue paper. So you open the tissue paper, and the very first time that you have a paper pumpkin on subscription, so this is our subscription crafting kit offer. So the very first time you get a block, a free acrylic block. So obviously you need to keep that block for all your future paper pumpkins, but you do get one of those to get you started. You always get an ink pad as well. So this time it's one of the brand new in colours, which is Peaceful Pine. So that's good. And you get your stamp set as well. So this is a Father's Day stamp set, this particular one. So some images and then lots of sentiments as well. So that's handy. And then keep unwrapping the tissue paper. I'm going to take that out of the box and let's just put that to one side. Get rid of the box. Box is quite handy. Exactly the same size as our kits. And each month it's a different theme. So this month, April's theme is Lakeside Retreat, which incidentally coordinates with a whole suite in the new catalogue, which is also quite helpful. Because if you really love it through making your paper pumpkin, then you can obviously get additional products if you want as well to go with it. So that's great. And then it's exactly the same as our other kits, in that you get instructions in here, and then you get adhesive, little embellishments, 3D pads, and then all the cutout pieces that you need, and all the blank bits to stamp on, to make up 3 of each of these 3 card designs. The additional thing that you don't get with a standard kit, which is brilliant, is that this bit, this is what we call the consumables pack. You can buy extras of these if you want to, without having to buy the stamps, the ink pad, the block as well. So you can just buy refills, we call them, of these consumable bits. So if you've got a kit that you absolutely love and you want to make time and time again, I'm thinking Christmas is going to be the one for me, where if there's a tag kit, then I'm going to want to buy loads of the tag kits. You don't have to worry about having duplicates of the stamp set and the ink pad and everything, because you can just buy a refill to go with it. So that's the first thing that's brilliant about Paper Pumpkin. The second thing is that this is a little mini die set. And I purchased this little mini die set for an additional, I think it was £13. And this die set not only coordinates with this suite, this Lakeside Retreat, but it will also coordinate with the next 2 months worth of Paper Pumpkin that I'm going to get as well. So it's got, so the bit that coordinates particularly well with this suite is this die, which is going to be which is a sign. Hopefully you can see that. So this is wood effect, and this is a sign. So all of these sentiments will fit inside the sign, so I can make my paper pumpkins more fancy by adding some die cutting to it. So this one has got the fancy sign, it's got some explosion fireworks, butterflies and flowers, which would go also with this suite, and also a word die that says wonderful. So if you pair that with your stamps, I could have wonderful dad, wonderful son. What does it say? We've got older, wiser, better. You are a lifesaver. You are an inspiration. So you could, and thanks, happy birthday and happy Father's Day. So you could pair all of those up with the wonderful die kind of in the middle of the words or whatever if you wanted to. So that's brilliant. But like I say, this die set doesn't only coordinate with this paper pumpkin and the Lakeside Retreat suite. It also coordinates with the next 2 paper pumpkins that will be available for the next 2 months. So the May paper pumpkin and the June paper pumpkin. Hopefully that makes sense. And if you want to know any more about our subscription offer, Paper Pumpkin, then do go on to the shop website, on the online website. There's a whole tab on subscription crafting, and it will tell you everything else that you need to know about Paper Pumpkin. And as always, if you've got any questions, just drop me a line and I will give you a hand with it. Okie dokie. And I think before I told a couple of people that it was £30 subscription. It's not, it's less than that. It's 20 something. I can't remember exactly how much. I want to say 25, something like that for this month, but I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. And that includes the postage and everything as well. So you don't pay additional postage or anything. Okie dokie, right. Let's look at what we've got in our kits. So tonight we are using, where's the stamp set? We are using the Match Day Suite. So the Match Day Suite is a stamp set and coordinating dies, and you have some die cut pieces already in your kit. And it also has some really cool sporty papers, which you already have a sample of the sporty papers, okay? You'll find you've got 5 half sheets of paper. And then you've also got some of these bits, because the final sheet of paper has these kind of already created images that you can then cut out. And I'll show you where I've done that on some of my cards. Or you can colour them in, or you can just chop them up and put them on a card front. You've also got some tags as well. We're going to use these tags as part of our cards, but you can use them as gift tags as well. And you've got more pattern paper on the back. So you've got all of that in your kit. You've also got, like I said before, quite a few little die cut pieces. So before anybody tells me that they don't have a relevant die cut piece that I've put in my kit, everybody has definitely got every die cut piece, but just be very, very careful when you get them out, because they get static and then they stick to the bit of paper, they stick to your arm, they stick to the table, whatever. And then the other thing that you've got is one of these. So you'll have either or of these shapes, and these are called flip flaps. Flip flaps are a scrapbooking tool, which means that in the pages of your scrapbook, you can stick one of these in, because this bit peels off, this strip here. And then you can add in, it's a space for adding in extra photographs, okay? We're going to come to this in a moment, because we're going to use one of those, and you've got one. It doesn't matter which shape you've got, either or is fine, but we're going to use one of those in one of our cards, okay? So that's what you've got in your kit. So let's show you the 3 cards that we're going to make tonight. So these are the 3 designs that we're going to go over tonight. So we've got this one, which all the ones that we're going to make tonight are football designs, because that's what the suite was intended to produce. However, at the end, I'm going to show you some additional designs that I've made, and I've got 3 additional sports that you can make out of this suite, okay? So I've got a cricket card, I've got a rugby card, and I've got a running or triathlon card as well, or athletics you could use it for. So I've got variations that I can show you. So this one we're going to make using that tag and using the football. I'll come to the footballs in a moment, because I have made a bit of a boo-boo with the footballs, but I think it will still work, so we'll go with it. Then we've got a goal card, and your goal, before we get to this card, your netting has got self-adhesive backing to it, because I cut it out using the double-sided adhesive on the back. So because of all the little bits of the net, I thought that was just way too much hassle to have to think about that. So that is already, it's already got glue on the back for you. And you've got your cup and your flag, which are 2 of the die cuts. These little footballs are cut out of the paper, so they're just fussy cut, and then you've got various bits of grass and your embellishments. And then this card, which actually is the one that we're going to make first, because it's the simplest front, is a tent fold. Let's get those two out of the way. Tent fold card, like that. And then inside this card, is your flip flap. So what I have done is I have, and I'm going to show you how to do this. I've mounted my flip flap inside the card, and I've put inside one of the pitches from your designer series paper. And the idea is that on the white piece of card, I will write my message and my greeting. But inside the flap, so you need to make sure the flap's on the right side of the card. Inside the flap, I can now add a gift card or some money. So it kind of gives you like a little pocket to put extra bits and pieces in. So instead of putting a photograph in it, like I would if I was using it as a memory keeping or scrapbooking flip flap, I'm going to use it to put a gift card in. I don't know about you, but my boys are particularly difficult to buy things for often, so in our family, so I often will put money in the card or a gift card. So especially the teenagers are a bit of a nightmare to buy for, so that's really handy. And whichever flip flap you've got, what I would say is, let me get mine out so I can show you. Hold on a minute. You need to decide from your flip flap which type of card you're going to put it in, because you can put a flip flap in any of these cards, okay? So that's the one that I've put inside this card, and the reason I've chosen this one is because it opens sideways, so it comes out the side of the card, which I think is easier for you to then get your hand into, okay? If I was putting it in this card, I would rather have this one because it will lift up that way, and that will mean I can more easily access the card inside. So I would say that one is for that kind of shape of card. But equally, this one, where the spine is at the top, I would probably put the flip flap in here so that you can fold it back sideways and access the pocket on the side without. What you don't want is the access to the pocket being where the spine is, essentially. That's kind of the key message there, really. So, but all of that will become clear as we start to make. So what we're going to do first is we're going to make the front of this card. We won't worry about the inside because we'll do that when we come back to flip flaps. So we're just going to make the front of this card to begin with. So what we're going to need is the long piece of garden green, which is scored in the middle. And you're going to need a piece of patterned paper that has scarves and boots and things on the front, but on the back it's got your netting. So that's what you're going to need, is these two things to begin with. Then the other thing that you're going to need, that everyone's got in their kit, is a strip of white card. We'll come on to the football and the decoration and all that stuff in a moment, but this is just the paper and the card that you're going to need. And this is going to be really, really quick and easy to do as well. So we're going to fold over your card front and crease it so that it gives you that tent fold. Move those bits out of the way. So fold it over and crease it. And then you're going to cut your netting paper. Now, I would say, in order to not waste the paper, because this netting is really good for loads of sports, as you'll see in a minute, but also you've got loads of images on the back that you can cut out. Oh, look, I've got a bit of a star stuck on there. I don't know where he's come from. Stick him up there for now. Yeah, you've got loads of images on the back that you might want to colour and cut out. So I would say cut it so that the long side is at the top, so that you waste the least, or you use the least amount of paper. So let me get my cutting board here. And with the long side at the top, you're going to want to put it in your trimmer and cut at 9.9 centimetres. And then you've got all of this huge piece of paper left to do something else with. So 9.9 centimetres. And then we don't need it first layer size because we only need to cut it down to around 11 and a half kind of centimetres. I'm going to give a bit of an overlap with my piece of white card, and then you've still got that little bit as well that you could cut something out of if you were clever, or you can use for a bit of netting. So 11 and a half by 9.9 is what you want. Get that out of the way a minute. And then this piece goes at the top by the spine. So just need to whack some adhesive on there and flat down onto your card front. Evelyn, I'm relying on you to keep also multitask and keep an eye on the comments for me in case there's any questions or whatever. Because I don't know why, but for some reason they're not coming up. Let me just shrink that a minute and see if it helps.
No one's commented yet.
That's fine. Let me just shrink it, and then it may be that I can. No, I wonder what that is. I'm just going to refresh my screen a minute because I am wondering if there's a little gremlin in the work there. IT gremlin, wouldn't be surprised. Try again. Oh, there we go. I've got comments now. Better. It's all better. Might be all right. Okay. So, yeah. So once you've got your netting on the top, you're then going to take your piece of white card and you're going to go across the bottom of the netting. Now, at this point, you need to decide what sentiment you're going to put along the bottom there. So, let's just have. I've got Match Day on the bottom of mine, which is from the suite. So in terms of the stamp set, you've got a choice of Match Day, Your Biggest Fan, Let's Go, Thanks for Everything, or Goal, or Number One. So let me see, what did I have? I might have, let's have Your Biggest Fan for a change. I've done lots with Let's Go on. Have already made quite a lot of cards with this suite, I have to tell you. But we'll have Your Biggest Fan, I think. Let's have a stamping pad. Let's find a block somewhere as well. And then I've got a new product to show you as well. Where's the blocks gone? I thought I had blocks out. Bear with. I think I might not have got any blocks out by accident. Let's have a look. Here's some blocks. There we go. Right, let's just mount that up on there. So I'm just going to, before I stamp my sentiment, I'm just going to line it up and make sure that I've allowed enough space for it. Because I may need to go up a bit further. Yeah, I think I'll need to go up to about there. That's pretty much at the bottom of the netting. So let's get that on there first. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment. And my sentiment is going directly onto the card. So the new product I'm going to show you is our Basic Black Hybrid ink. I've put a bit of washi tape down the side on the seal. Because it's new, it's quite difficult to open. So just wanted it to be easy to open to begin with while it kind of loosens up a bit. So this ink is, as I say, it's basic black. It can be used for everything now. It's a universal ink. Excuse me. So you don't have to have separate stays on and what was our other one? Memento or other basic blacks, because this ink is universal. So you can use it for colouring, you can use it for outlining, everything. Okay, so let's just, not sure I've used this stamp before, so. And this ink pad is really lovely because it's not a fabric, it's a squashy foam, so it's easier to ink the ink onto the stamp, which was one of my personal complaints of the previous one. Let's get that in the middle there, roughly. There we go. It's better. Now, I'll give you a top tip with this ink as well for anybody that buys this ink. I discovered this morning that you don't want to leave it too long before you clean off your stamp. So I'm going to immediately just clean it off because it's fine. I mean, I did get it off, but it just took a bit more effort, I would say, than if I was, you know, with Memento, I could leave Memento on for like all day, frankly, on a stamp, and it would still clean up lovely afterwards. But with this one, I just found that the ink lasted longer on the stamp, so don't want to do that, obviously. Let's clean that off. Okay. So that's like the basic components of this card. And then you want to get one of your footballs out. And this is where I have a massive confession to make. So you will have a little football die cut, and you'll have two of those, and you'll have 2 pieces of black card. And I'm just going to run with this and we'll see what happens, okay? Because I will be sending one of these cards as well. So we're just going to go with it and see what happens. After I'd sent out the kits, after I'd cut all the pieces, after having quite a stressful week as well, to be fair, both at work and at home, I realised that I probably should have die cut in black and given you a piece of white cardstock instead. So for that, I apologise. Anyway, your football die cut has a peel off on the back. So peel off the adhesive backing, get rid of that, and then stick it directly down onto your black card. Oh, it doesn't look too bad, actually. I'm sure that one of my children will tell me that it's dreadful and doesn't look anything like a football. Then all you need to do is cut round the edge of the die cut so that it creates a football. I think the idea was that the football should have been black on white instead of white on black, but hey ho. I seem to remember that Alexander's got footballs in all kinds of colours. He's got red ones, he's got black and white ones, he's got all sorts of colours depending on who's sponsored the make of the football. So I'm not gonna lose too much sleep over this, I think. But I apologise if you're a massive football fan and therefore I've got it wrong. Let's have a quick slurp of my tea a minute. Right. So once you've got your football made up, you're going to then put your football on here. This football, I wanted to show you the alternate. This is the stamped football that comes in the kit. So I just wanted to show you that you can, there is a stamped version as well as a die cut version. And obviously there's footballs on the paper. So if you're really desperate for a more authentic looking football, then obviously you can cut one out of the paper. Anyway, my football, let's keep going. My football is having a dimensional on the back. Peel that off. And I'm placing it kind of there. So bottom right of the card. And then if you see on my card, I've got the little dotted lines indicating kind of the bounce of the ball. So I'm just going to grab a black marker and that's what I'll use for the bounce of the ball. So I'm just going to use one of our standard Stampin' Right markers, and I'm going to use the thin end of the tip, but any kind of ballpoint pen that you normally use for this kind of stuff will be fine. And I'm going to go from down here, so I'm going to start with little dotted lines towards the football, and then another little dotted lines away from the football. Off the edge of the card. So it looks like the football has bounced in off the edge of the card. Dead simple. And that's our first card. Like I say, we're going to potentially do something inside one of your cards later. So I won't make an insert for this particular card because it may be that I choose one of the others to show you the difference in the flip flaps. Okay. So that's card number 1. I'll have another slurp of my tea. Let me know, give me some thumbs up or whatever if you're crafting along, and let me know how you're getting on. Pretty quick and easy, that one. Fab. Let's have Evelyn's in as well, so we can show Evelyn's. There's Evelyn's too. She's got thanks on the bottom of hers. Cool. So that's the first one. I'm going to put that one to one side. And let's move on to our next one, which is, let's do this one next, I think. This one is lots of die cut pieces. So one of my favourites. I love a card with a lot of die cut pieces on it. So you're going to need one of your remaining green card bases. Either or, colour wise, it really doesn't matter. I've got a dark surround on this to begin with, so I'm going to change and have a light surround on the next one. And this time you're going to need the paper that looks like a striped bowling green, and it's got numbers on the back, that paper. That's the one you're going to use. And again, we'll do this in stages, so we will, let me get rid of the stamp in that minute. And exactly the same as before, I've cut it so that the long side is at the top to preserve as much of the paper on the back, because as you'll see in a moment when I show you my other alternative cards, I've used the numbers both for age cards where I've needed to put an age on a child's card, or they make great ages on the front of a shirt, great numbers on the front of a player's shirt as well. So that's another way that you can use the numbers, is you can cut them out and then use them to denote the number of the player's shirt, which, yeah, something different. So I'm going to fold and crease this one over like normal. Give that spine a good sturdy crease. And then I'm going to cut my standard first layer. So it will be 9.9 centimetres by 14.3. So let's move that that way. 9.9, do that bit first, and then you can get rid of the other bit of paper. This bowling greeny kind of lawn, striped lawn effect, honestly, is really, really versatile. So put that to one side. By 14.3 centimetres. Just standard first layer size, whatever you use for that. I can get that one out of the way. And just stick that flat down straight away. I think this particular suite, I know I've got a bit of a sporty family, but this suite is going to get loads of use, because every time I use it, I think of another activity that I could kind of portray on these cards. So it's really, really versatile is what I would say. And then once you've got that first layer stuck down, you're then going to need a series of your die cuts. So you're going to need your net. You're going to need some grass, which looks like that, in case you're not sure. You're going to need some tufts of grass, which look like that. Your red flag and your yellow trophy. And once we've stuck all of those bits down, then we'll worry about the footballs and the stars and things. But we'll start by sticking all these bits down first. So let's get all the die cut pieces up and out the way first. You'll notice with your net that there might still be some little bits kind of hanging off of it. They will come out really easily. Just poke them through. But another way to get them off as well is to start peeling the backing off your net. And you'll probably find that a lot of the little pieces come out on the peel off on the back. So peel the back of the net off. And then that is going to, oh, I've done my grass a different way. Look, this must have been a leftover piece then. How funny. How funny. So I'm going to line my grass up in that case with the line of the grass on the card, because it will look a bit funny if my goal, going to line it up with the stripe on the grass. Otherwise it's going to look like it's sideways, which won't help. So net first, then your long strip of grass next, okay? And if, like mine, you've still got a bit of a mark on there from where, an impression mark from where the die cutting machine was, then use that as your guideline to trim the grass. And trim it down so that I've got an even base for my grass. And all I'm going to do is stick a couple of little bits of glue on the back. I'm not going to go mad with loads of adhesive. Ooh, glue going mad. Just going to put a couple of dobs where the kind of grass is a bit thicker and might be able to take a bit of glue really. Oh, my glue is absolutely running wild. So let's put it up the other way for a bit. Because I've got other things to go on top and that will hold the grass down. So rather than going mad and getting loads of glue everywhere, I'm not going to do that. And then you just want to overlap the base of the net a little bit. So just overlap the base of the goal net. Just enough to hold it in place. Like I say, you don't need to go too mad with that. And then my tufts of grass next. Now, again, these might have been completely cut out for you. They might have come out in the post. They might not. If they haven't, just chop along the base and it'll come out as a tuft. And I'm putting those one either end of my goal posts where often you see a bit of grass growing a bit. You know, you get a bit more grass growing at the corner posts of the goal. And I'm going to put pads on these. So I'm going to go for mini dimensionals and put one on the back of each of these. Might need to use tweezers for these because they are pretty small. If you've got really big dimensionals, you don't have these little mini ones, then just cut them up. That's the easiest way to do it. What am I looking for? Just going to look and see if I've got a pokey tool. Use that to get the mini dimensional up and place it in the right place. And then just, whoops, don't stick yet. One at each corner post. There we go. And then you can layer up your other bits. So I've got the flag and the cup that I want to layer on as well. So my flag on this card, if you can see, the base of the flag is poked in behind the back of the grass. So I'm just going to stick it flat with glue and go just behind the grass there. Just slide it in behind and off to an angle. And then with the cup is on 3D pads. So I've put a pad behind the base of the cup, that middle stem bit, and a pad behind the star. That's where I felt it worked best. Again, I'm going to use my pokey tool to get the pads off. So it's a bit easier to pick up, so I can place them a bit more accurately. So one in the centre of the star on the back and one in the middle of the base. You'll notice I haven't put anything on the actual base of the trophy on the stand. I don't think it needs it. It will stay in place without that. It will hover quite nicely. Just overlapping the grass again. Holds that main long strip of grass nicely in place then at either end. So that's pretty handy. And then I just need to finish this one off. I'm going to need the 2 footballs and some stars. Ah, that's where the star came from, off that card there. There. Yeah, there was 3 stars on there originally. Yeah, so what I need to find is a piece of the paper that's got the little mini footballs on it. So that piece is this one. So it's the little footballs with the green background, and all I'm going to do is just simply cut a couple off of the bottom corner of the paper. So I don't want to waste all of this piece because I can use, because this is just cups and medals on this side. So again, that's really great for, that's a really great universally, you know, suitable piece of paper, because, you know, you can use cups and medals for all kinds of sports. But the footballs on the back, I don't want to cut too far into them and waste what's on the other side. So I'm literally just going to fussy cut round these. Hold your scissors at a 45-degree angle again, so that you get a cut with no scissor teeth marks around the outside of your football. Do that with anything you're cutting out. Always hold your scissors and don't move the scissors, move the paper as you're cutting. So you hold your scissors still and move the paper around, and you'll get nice clean cut marks, and you can kind of stabilize your hand by, if your scissor skills aren't amazing, because as we all get a bit older, these kind of things become a bit more tricky as you kind of start to shake and stuff, or as you're just concentrating, as in my case, I'm concentrating and I'll go off the line. So always turn the paper, don't try and cut round with your scissors. Circles are one of the hardest things to cut as well, aren't they? It's so silly. It's such a basic shape, but they're nearly always one of the most difficult things to cut. Once you've got 2 footballs, again, dimensional on the back of each of those, and then they can be added to your little goal scene. Get those pads off the back. One down here and one heading for the goal there. And then your finishing touch is going to be any sentiment that you want to put on the bottom here. I might do an Evelyn and leave my sentiment till when it's nearer the time, whether it might be a thank you or a birthday or a whatever, I'm not sure. So instead I want to go to add in my stars. So You've got 2 strips of stars in your kit, so you'll have 2 of these big strips and then 3 of the smaller strips. These are called the Wonderful Stars Puffy Stickers, and I just wanted to show you out of a brand new pack that Evelyn and I are going to be using how many you actually get, because you get tons. So you get 2 complete sheets of stars, which is, let me see if it tells you, no, it just tells you 2 sheets, doesn't tell you how many, an awful lot anyway, an awful lot of stars. So that's brilliant that you get so many. Oh, I've done it myself, look, there's one come off of there, so I've obviously peeled one off somewhere. This one, there'll be one randomly stuck on something, I'll probably find it when I go to bed tonight. Yeah, so they're really good embellishments, these, because the white stars, the black stars are great because you don't very often get black embellishments, but the white stars you can colour as well if you want to, which is brilliant. So I'm going to do the reverse of what I did on that one. So I'm going to have a black star and then a white, and these will look great on, you know, any kind of celebration card, of course. So, you know, if you've got champagne bottles or just happy birthdays, cards that have got balloons, birthday cake, anything like that, these are going to look really good on any cards like that. So there we go. So that's my 2, and Evelyn's done something different on hers, which is really cool as well. She's put one of the stars in the middle of her cup, which is a great idea because it's obviously meant to be used like that, because the stars are exactly the right size, the big stars, to go in the middle of the cup. So you can even kind of decoupage your cup using these foam stars as well. What a good idea. Thank you very much. So that one is card number 2. I'm going to put these back because I fear that I may be covered in stars if not, because they're 3D and they kind of stand up a bit. There's a bit more of a risk where I'm concerned that I'm going to get covered in them, I think. I'm not careful. And just slide those back in the pack before Jenny gets stars up my armpits. Go on, go back in, you know you want to. There we go, that's better. So yeah, that's the second one. And again, we won't put a flip flap in there yet because we'll do the flip flap bit all together at the end on whichever card you choose to use once I've shown you the third card. So how are people getting on? If you're crafting along with me, give me some thumbs up when you're kind of ready to move on. I mean, I think these are fairly quick designs to make up. It's that kind of a suite that you can easily make nice cards but not have to spend too long overdoing them. So good for craft fairs and things like that where you might want to do multiples. Always difficult for kind of male cards or teenage cards or what have you. So the sporty kind of theme of these, I think, is pretty good. That kind of helps. And if you multiply cut your die cuts, you know, you could have a little box or a little, I've got those little, the little mousse containers, the glass containers. I often have kind of bowls of those when I'm crafting with little die cut pieces in or embellishments or whatever to make it quicker for me. So I do loads of die cuts and then I can make multiple cards all in one go. So that might be worth thinking about. Cool. Okay, so that's 2 done. And then the third one is going to be this one with your shirt on it. So again, you're going to need a piece of green cardstock. So one of your other card bases. So that means you've got 1 spare card base remaining that you can do whatever you want with. We're going to go back to the netting. So back to our net paper. And then you also need to find one of those labels one of these. So whichever one you're going to go for, I think I'm going to go for this one in the middle. You need to cut it out entirely so that you've got a single label. So I'm going to use my trimmer to cut it up so that I've got good sharp edges. And then you can use the other two, or if you've only got 2 labels, because you get 5 labels in a pack. So some of you will have 2 and will have 3 images of the bigger images. Some of you will have 3 and 2 of the smaller images. So whichever combination you've got, you can use those for other cards, or other projects. Yeah, and don't forget to just cut the corners off as well so that you've got that neat look. So that's your net patterned paper and your tag. And then also from your kit, you're going to need your second football, so your die cut piece and your black card, and your shirt template. Okay. Now I am going to show you with my shirt template one of the stamps, because there is a shirt stamp as well. So I'm going to stamp my shirt onto my shirt template. But equally, you can just colour your shirt in. That means that you can make up your own shirt design so that it, you know, matches what team you're trying to emulate or whatever. But yeah, I'm going to stamp my shirt on top of there first. So let's get those pieces out of the way. Again, I'm using a Stampin' mat. It's actually a piercing mat, but it's really solid, dense foam, and it gives a really good surface for stamping with photopolymer stamps. That's why I'm using it. Back to the basic black ink again, hybrid ink. You can apply it either way, so you can either apply the pad to the stamp or the stamp to the pad, whichever you prefer, or whichever works for the size of stamp that you're applying it to. I'm just going to bring it down here so I can line it up really well, because it's really difficult to see when the camera is far away from me. Now, ordinarily, of course, I would be stamping first and then die cutting, but as I've got a die cut piece already, there we go. Didn't apply quite enough pressure there because it was a bit too far away from me. But do you want the... But it won't matter because I'm going to colour it in anyway. So I'm going to put that to one side a moment, just let the ink dry, along with, let me make up my football as well. So again, don't forget to peel the back off of your die cut piece, which is a bit fiddly if you're like me. There we go. Oops. And then just cut round the edges. Oh, I'll just use the scissors, there they are. So you've made up your football. So can anybody think of any other sports that they might want to use these papers for? I did have a conversation about the potential for hockey this morning as well. That this paper, this one, we thought could be hockey instructions. I don't know why, but it just made me feel like, yeah, maybe that was hockey instructions. And there might be other uses for these pitches as well. I'm not sure. But that's potential there too. Right, so done my stamping, so I'm going to get my stamping mat out of the way, get the scissors out the way, and just going to cut the netting, my netting paper again. So again, standard first layer size, so 9.9 centimetres by 14.3. No need for anything fancy here. 9.9 by 14.3. So then hopefully you have got your tag, your football, your shirt and your patterned paper. So let's fold the card base and get constructing. So fold and crease the card base first. And then stick that netting paper down as our background. On your instructions, you've got lots of photos of the other cards that I'll show you in a moment. I'll just talk you through how to make those, but if you want to case some other designs, then do go back to that email, because there's lots of other card ideas on that email as well. So let's just pause there a moment and have another slurp of my tea while everyone's kind of getting that next piece down and getting all your other pieces ready. And then I'll talk you through how I colour my shirt in a minute as well, because we had a big discussion about that this morning too. To be able to show kind of light and shade on your shirt, which is really good, and something that you can do with blends that you can't do with other kind of felt tip colours. You can do with other alcohol markers as well. Oh wait, Evelyn's been busy cleaning the stamps, so I'll hang on for her a moment. No, it's fine.
A bit too long on there, and it's not quite.
No, it'll come off. Don't worry, it'll come off. Just need to spray it a bit more. It'll be fine.
I'm ready.
Right. Okay. So grab your tag, and you're going to put your tag on at a kind of jaunty angle on across your card like that. I've put 3D pads under mine, so let's go back to the dimensionals. And I'm running out of dimensionals, as you can see, but as this is quite a big area, I am going to take the opportunity to snip off the borders of my dimensionals and use them instead of individual dimensionals, because why not? Don't want to waste them, and this is a great opportunity to use them up. Don't even need a whole strip actually. There we go. Peel backing off of those. Whoop. Come off completely? Yes. Yep, and then like I say, I'm just going to put that at kind of an angle across the card. And then I'm going to need to do something with my shirt, because my shirt is not yet coloured. All shirts in this house are red, because Alexandra supports, well, and Darren supports Gloucester Rugby, Swindon Town Football and Liverpool Football Club. So it's everything's red. And even actually when we go to ice hockey, the shirts are red as well. The Swindon Wildcats are also red. So there you go. So I'm going to colour my shirt using red Stampin' blends. So I've got Poppy Parade red. So I've got a dark colour. Blends come always in 2 different shades. So you have a dark shade and a light shade, but it's the same coordinating colour as the cardstock and your ink pad and your embellishments and everything else, okay? So when you're colouring, so if I show you this shirt, let me just hold that up a moment. I hope the camera will pick that up. you ought to be able to see that there are darker patches and then there's a light patch right down the middle of this card, which of the shirt, that gives a little bit of movement and a bit of kind of well, light and shade to the card, so it looks a bit more 3D, and that's really easy to achieve that look using your blends. So if you look on this shirt, because it's stamped, there's lots of kind of movement marks on it already, where you've got kind of those little lines that indicate that the shirt's being, you know, that it's soft material and it's moving. But you can equally do this on a plain shirt as well. You just need to think about which is the direction the light is coming from. If the light is coming straight on, then where the light hits the shirt is going to be your lightest shade of colour. And anywhere where there's likely to be creases, so round the armholes, maybe on the edges of the shirt as it kind of clings to the body and is moving, at the base of the shirt, maybe around the neck or whatever, any of those places are likely to be where it's darker, okay? So, and the reason I'm doing the stamped one as well is because I can show you how where I put the dark pen. So I've got my dark pen to start with, and I'm just going to go over all of these. Let's do the other end. Okay, let's be a bit more precision. All of these darker crease marks, if you like, on the shirt. So I'm literally just going over the top of the crease marks where it's obvious that the shirt would have been, has been a bit kind of crinkled up. So just keep going over, not too much precision here, but just over the top of where those darker marks are. Really simple. I'm going to leave the cuffs white on mine. So that's the dark pen done. And then I'm going to go over the whole shirt with this lighter colour pen, but I'm going to lift off a little bit and go a bit lighter in my colouring technique down the centre of the shirt, because I know that I want the centre to be a bit, is where the light's going to hit. So I am going to colour it. I'm just going to be a bit more careful about it, go a bit broad brush. Whereas over the bits that I've already coloured, I can afford to be a bit more kind of robust with the colouring. What you'll find with blends, and this is true of any alcohol marker as well, is that the longer that you leave the pen after, it will almost like develop, if you like. So you'll find that the ink kind of sinks into the background of the card a bit more, and you'll also find that those two tones will blend more. So the trick with the blending is to go over the top of those darker areas again, but this time with that lighter colour. So I'm not going to go down the middle, because I want that middle to look like the light is hitting it. But what I do want is these darker areas to blend in a bit more with the lighter tone. And as it dries, what you'll see is that the pen marks, the edges of the pen marks start to disappear, and that's because it's the alcohol that's in the blend is helping to distribute the ink. It's helping the two colours to combine, and it's also helping the ink to kind of move around on the page. So, and if you want to make it a bit darker, make those areas a bit more obvious, then just keep blending until it is how you want. And then, as I say, the longer that you leave it, the more that those two tones will just blend in. Okay. Oh, I haven't done the inside. That's something I've forgotten. So let's go back and do the inside of the back of the shirt. Once everything's finished with the light one, then I'll go over that bit as well. And then I'm just going to stick this flat down on the front of the card onto my label. Can I just borrow the end of that light one for a minute, please? Yeah. Thank you so much. Just finish colouring that inside back bit of the shirt, neck piece. Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to stick wet glue across the back. And then stick that flat onto my label. Just hold that for a second. There we go. And then again, I'm just going to add my football over the corner there. A little bit of glue on the bit that's going to be on the tag, over the tag, and I think I might need a little tiny small dimensional to go on the corner where it's raised off the there we go. And then again on this one, of course, I've got my goal as my sentiment. I'm going to stick some more of those lovely stars. Where's the stars gone? Oh, can you grab me the pack? Thank you so much. Again, let's have the reverse of what I've done on this card. So I have the big white one in the middle. And two little black ones either side. There we go. I'll fight to get the stars back in the packet again now. Go on, in you go. So where if I don't put them back in the packet, there'll be stars everywhere. There we go. And then I would just put a sentiment on the side there. Again, though, I think, because I've got quite a lot of these cards now, I'm going to leave the sentiment and add that at another time. So that is our 3 cards finished. So once you've got all your bits added to your card, the next thing we need to do is to add a flip flap to the inside of one of our cards. So let me get my flip flaps and let me get my cards out here, and then I can show you. So let's go with that one for a minute. So if you've got a flip flap that looks like this one, that I've got in my hand now, then you will need to either pick this card for it to go inside, or, let me get this right, or this card for it to go inside. Yeah. So if you've got a flip flap that looks like that, then it will need to go inside one or other of those. If you've got a flip flap that looks like that, then it can go inside this one. Okay, so that's the first thing, is to work out which card does your flip flap go inside. That's the first thing. Once you've decided which card your flip flap is going to go inside, then you need to make sure that you know where is which is the side which has got the opening on it, and which is the side that is smooth against the self-adhesive bit, because you need your pocket to be accessible on the inside of the card. Okay, once you've identified that, you'll be fine. Okay, so I am going to put it inside. I'm going to put it inside this one. So I think that's probably the more tricky one to think about. Okay, and I'm going to do a sideways one. So my thought is that my card will open like that, and then my flip flap, which side is the flap? There it is. So my flip flap will then go, let's get it the right way around. My flip flap will go like that. No, like, which way around will it go? Sticking down. So you want the sticky side with the white paper on it to be downwards. So it will go, yeah, it will go like that, and then fold back on itself. That's right. So then when this person opens the card, they'll be able to open the card and then access that's right, open, access the flap. So you might want to bend the seal back on itself. So what I'm going to do, what I did with my original card, if let me bring that back in again, is on the inside, the first thing I did was put a piece of patterned paper on the inside of the card. Then I also cut a piece of white card, which incidentally isn't in your kit. So if you want to add in a piece of white card, so you've got somewhere to write your message. I mean, you can obviously write your message on the top if you want, but if you're going to put a piece of white card on the inside, you will need to get that piece of white card. So that's what I'm going to do first, is I'm going to cut a piece of patterned paper to go on the inside. And given we were talking about this one, let's put that one on the inside, the tactics board, I think it is. So that will need to be the same size as your first layer. So that will be 9.9 by 14.3 again. 14.3. And that can be any of your patterned papers. Doesn't matter which one. So that one's going on the inside first, just plain flat down. That bit goes first. Then you grab your flip flap, making sure that your sticky seal is on the bottom, so that it is going to actually stick to the patterned paper you've just put in there, and that when you open your flip flap out, you can then access the pocket from the inside of the card. So I've had to fold mine back on itself to get that, but then you just they've got really easy to pick up edges, and just take that bit of kind of plastic off. Oop, very sticky, and stick it centrally so that when the card is closed, it will sit nice and flat. So then when I open my flip flap, there's the pocket in there, so it's easy to get to. And then I'm going to put a piece of white card in the middle there, so I'm also covering over where that strip is of the flip flap as well. So I'm just going to measure how big that area is. I think they're 4 by 3 inches, but let me just check a minute. They are, oh no, it's 4.5 inches by 4.5 by 3.5. So that's the size of the piece of white card that I'll need. So a largish scrap, I would say. 4.5 measure it up and make sure it's not too big. By 3.5. Those white scraps for sentiments. And then I just want to make sure that it does cover the whole area of the, yeah, it does, of the flip flap. So 4.5 by 3.5 for the piece of white card. So open the flip flap out to the side, and then I'm going to put some more glue on the back of the white card, and then that will go over the top here, so right up to the hinge, but completely hiding where you have stuck your flip flap in, and then really kind of crease down the edge there. And then again, I'm going to do the same as I did with the other one, and I'm going to use one of these pictures to go on the inside. Just going to cut one of those off of the strip of football pictures. Doesn't matter which one, I'm going to have this one, because these are pretty much the right size to begin with. I think I might need to trim that down a tiny little bit. We'll have a look. No, it'll go in, so that's great. I'm going to put that in so that it's pitch side up, so it'll be that way round. Just slide it in. Don't need to glue it or anything like that. Don't need to attach it. It'll stay in all of its own accord. And then when you close it, that's what the person sees, and then they will open that up, read your message, and see that they've got a gift card or money or whatever in there. And there we go. Super, super simple. So let's bring in all the cards that we've done, and then I'll show you some alternatives. So we've done that one, which is the same, the shirt card, and our goal card, and our other goal card. There we are. So those are the ones that we've done to begin with. And then let me show you a few alternatives. Okay, so let's get those ones out of the way a minute. I'll show you some alternative designs, and then also some alternative sports as well. So this one, the 2 colour flags, so just literally cut the dies out twice in different colours. The dies also come with a little whistle, coach's whistle, and 2 little cones like you might be using for dribbling or whatever. The shirt, I just cut out using the shirt die. So, and I cut it out of the green stripy paper, but you could cut that out of the colour, a coloured card corresponding to the team that that person supports, or any other stripy paper. And then personally, I think, because it's quite plain, you could then personalise it to whichever sport they support. So if it's rugby, for example, I would say that a stripy shirt could be a rugby shirt with a number on it, could be a football shirt, could be a hockey shirt, could be a number of different things, really. That's from the numbers paper that I was talking about, cut out the number. So this could be an age card as well for somebody, or it could be their favourite player or whatever. So that's that one. Also on the inside, I didn't waste my extra little strip of black paper that I cut off from that strip. I just added it to the inside. You've always got to have a white layer inside a black base card, so why not make use of it and add that little strip. Then this card is cut from, so if you've got some pieces like this, then all I did was colour in the shoe a little bit and then cut it out and mounted it on. So it's almost like a pre-stamped image almost. So that's really easy. You can do that with the big images or the small images. That's another one. Another one with from these pre-cut because this is another of the images from the pre-cut shapes. Again, I mean, that's just really quick to do. Background paper, cut the image to size, didn't cut round it, just left it with the background there. And then just coloured in the shirt and the shoe. Dead simple. And then we've got some alternatives. So if you are a rugby fan, or if your people you're sending to are rugby fans, I've made rugby goalposts. Because on the back of, which one is it? Which of the papers is it? It's on the back of the netting paper. So you've got the goal net paper, and on the back, you've got all the individual images, including the scarf and the boots. So that was what I cut out to make my scarf and boots. And if you'll notice, it's been really economical here. So let me show you. This scarf is coming off the edge of the paper, and so is that one. So that is the scarf that I cut out so that I would not waste even a single image off of this sheet of paper. So I didn't bother to cut into the middle and then waste all the rest of the sheet. I literally just cut off the edge. So I really used every scrap of paper, and then just butted that up against the edge of the card. So really, really easy. Put in 2 layers of grass in this card. The background layer is flat, and then the front layer is raised on a strip of 3D dimensional padding. So that's really simple. Oh, my goalposts are literally just strips of white card. Absolutely nothing technical there. This one I am very proud of. This is my cricket card. I sent this to my nephew, who supports one of the cricket teams in London. Can't remember what they're called. Alexander would tell me. Can't remember. Anyway, I coloured the shirt, the colours of the team that he likes. They're called the London something or others. The cup, the same. Cricket ball, if you can see that, it's just literally a round punched or free cut piece of red plain card. And then the stitching that goes around the ball, we've got brand new white gel markers that come in a pack of 2. So that is what I used for the white stitching, and then the black stitching, my normal black marker pen. And then the cricket bat, really proud of my cricket bat. The cricket bat, I literally went on Google Images and searched for a simple line drawn cricket bat, and that's what it came up like. And Evelyn gave me this top tip a while ago, and we tested it out this morning. It worked again this morning. If you then screenshot that image or save that image, you can then put a piece of card over the top, and the light from the phone acts like a light box, and you can trace round it then. So you don't have to be brilliant at drawing. You can just use the image from the internet. And then I coloured it so that the one side of the bat was darker coloured and the other side of the bat was lighter coloured, because a cricket bat's beveled, isn't it? So that kind of gives that little bit of movement in the cricket bat. So that was dead simple. And then today, while everybody was making their cards, I was determined I was going to find yet another sport I could get out of this pack. So I've done running, or it might be triathlon, I guess. I'm only saying that because we've got triathlon at the weekend. So yeah, I've got, because the shoes can be rugby, cricket, whatever, running shoes, trainers essentially. And then the medal, obviously, you can have a medal for anything, and I've just put a number 1 for as in first place. So that's 3 alternative sports. If I could be bothered to find an image of a tennis racket, if I knew anybody who liked tennis and would like a tennis card, then I could absolutely make a tennis card out of this netting or out of the grass, stripy grass, I think, or probably a combination of the 2 would be a great background. The grass is universal, match day, universal terminology. So I think if I changed the shirt out and got rid of the cricket bat and changed that for a tennis racket with perhaps a little yellow ball cut out or something instead, that would definitely go. Like I've said, anything that's got a net involved, hockey, I think the actual net die cut, where is it? This one, I think you could really easily use that for hockey. We go to ice hockey, like I say. I think you could definitely use that for ice hockey because the net is very similar kind of style of the rounded corners, and it's usually quite small. So, you know, that would make sense as well. So whilst this suite is a football suite in its intention, I personally think there's actually an awful lot of scope for different sports in this suite. So if you have sporty friends and you're looking for a suite that suits, or you've got teenagers or men or whatever that you're struggling to make cards for, do check this one out. It's called the Match Day Suite. And you've got the papers, the die cuts and the stamped images. So let me just turn around a minute. There we go. Excuse me for showing the back of my, what holds my light down, which is my dishwasher tablets. Let me just turn that off a minute. It might look a bit less in your face anemic then if I haven't got light shining. Oh, that's better. That's better. Hello. Okay. Yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed that tonight. Something different. And like I say, you've got all the photographs with the exception of my running card. You've got all the photographs of the other alternative cards that I made. So, you know, do go back to the email and then you'll get those other ideas if you've got other sports that you want to have a look at. Next month, we are going to be using some brand new papers from the new catalogue. I can't show you them at the moment, but there's an email coming to everybody on the mailing list tomorrow, and there are photographs of what we're going to be doing. They are monochrome black and white papers with a variety of different images on them, and we're going to be doing different colouring techniques. Or colour it black. Oh yeah, that's such a good idea. Oh, Sally, you're so brainy. What can I say? You're so brainy. Yeah, so we're going. Yeah, so next month. Sorry, I'm totally sidetracked now. We're going to be doing colouring in different colouring techniques using these black and white images. What else are we going to be doing? Oh, we're going to be using lots of new products. So I've got new word dies. We've got new shapes, label type shapes. We're going to be cutting out some of the coloured images, and everyone's going to get samples of the new in colours because we're going to be making our cards using the new in colours. So very, very exciting. So email coming out tomorrow with the sign up link. Please fill in the sign up form because that's my best way. I'm so busy at the moment with work. It's my best way to stay on top of things and make sure that I don't lose anybody in the who wants to join. Let me know, obviously, in that sign up form if you want your if you want your kit posted, or if you're going to collect your kit from me, or you're going to come to the in person, or you're going to do it online. And yeah, look out for those new couple of offers next week. So the sale of the scrapbooking stuff and the joining offer as well. Okay, that's enough. I'm off to get a cup of tea and also clear up the carnage that is on this table. Okay, have a lovely bank holiday weekend, everybody. Bye.